We have the clash of the Rizal builds. Who's gonna win? Make sure you guys smash the like crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz. We have probably one of your more competitive regionals out of the block out here, and it's always going to be California, right? You're always going to have these rock'em sock'em robot battles out here of these regionals, and this is not a good looking regional for the breakdown. Actually, I would argue that a lot of the sense of this regional is going to look very, very much like Orlando, and what you're going to be kind of expecting out of that meta. So, your most represented deck in the top cut was going to be Rizal by about 1,000 miles. All right. Now, for all classification and purposes, there are 7 Rizal builds in this top cut. Now, we do have a classification breakdown on this because while they are all still Rizal builds, you have the engines out here which are finally starting to shine a little bit. And yes, I'm going to make the argument for this format that Fiendsmith and Mitsurugi, while they are Rizal decks, there are differences to them. And those differences are going to be the production of those end boards and how they're going to go about doing this. So we had 4 Fiendsmith Rizal variants, and we also had 3 Mitsurugi variants. So right now you are seeing a tightening war out here between these 2 engines and how they are going to be doing their thing. But you know, you got to be a very strong duelist to definitely overcome some of this craziness. And our last deck in Top Cut was actually Malice. Now, obviously, Alliance Insight is still many months away. Once we start to kind of see that shift in the tightening power of the meta, once we get closer, you will begin to actually see, you know, some of the veil kind of change around that time. But that's a lot of meta. Let's pass on over to deck list. All right, so starting things off here, we have your Rizal Fiendsmith variant. There's going to be a lot of these, as you can probably tell. One interesting cool tech choice that this list has going for it is it actually has the Metaltronius actually built into the main deck, which is actually kind of interesting. The fact that, you know, this duelist had the foresight out here to go, hey, you know, we are planning to kind of counteract the meta out here and take care of a lot of the craziness, which means just we're going to slam Metaltronius on the table and we're going to cruise control, you know, through all those Rizal matchups. So I like this a lot. I think that things are going to be pretty strong kind of going forward with little tech choices like this. Also, you do see the crossout designators down here. You have the Ultimate Slayers to kind of counteract so much of this. And, of course, you know, Fiendsmith in Paradise, really, really looking good, but who needs Rexstrom Tremende at all? All right, next up here, may you see the very little shift in those lists, and that's actually kind of horrifying. Some of the big things with this list, you are side decking the Meows in here. I think that this is fine. You've also got, once again, Fiendsmith in Paradise. Rounding up to 41 cards is fine. You also do see the Ultimate Slayers down here to kind of counteract some of those Rizal matchups yet again. And, of course, Solemn Strikes. We've learned now here that honestly, this card's pretty good. I really do like the power that this gives you to kind of counteract those really stupid plays that your opponent can do. Also, you know, cutting your opponent off of a detonator can really send them back really, really hard, actually, which is kind of nuts. Also, hello, Eclipse Twins. We've learned how stupidly good that this card can actually be. Once again, hey, who needs Rex Tremende out here when Desiree is the strong boss monster to get things going? But, okay, I like this variation. Next up out here, we have your Mitsurugi. Good stuff. I see we're going with the 3 prayers, 3 of the ritual, which is good. You do see the Nadir's Servant stuff in here for the power back end to go on into Maximus. Maximus is such a strong, good card in here. Also, cutting back on the ice and the sword. You know, EX is all you really need to kind of get things going. Once you get this power line going, I think it's really good. Also, we're going with 2 Ame and, of course, 1 Futsu. I think that's pretty standard at this point. You also do get the chance to see we have Thrust down here. You also got the Exceed Encores. Really now? Okay, so I've mainly seen Ultimate Slayers be options out here that people have been looking towards, but actually having the Exceed Encores to be some cleanup is actually pretty good. So, all right, we got our meta. We got our meta good stuff out here. All right, what else we got? Oh boy, I'm telling you, there was going to be so much of this. All right, interesting little tech choices for this. This build, going with the triple Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries out here. Now, I guess being able to cut off all of the, oh, what is it? The stupid Rizal cards, but also cutting off the Fiendsmith stuff down here. I mean, cutting off your opponent's Requiem kind of gets you into some free, stupid, good stuff. And of course, hey, look, I appreciate the Solemn Strikes out here. I really do. I love the idea that you can ram these on in here and it just punishes your opponent so very hard. Also, Phantasme is not exactly something I figured you'd see, but if you're playing against the Fiendsmith stuff, I guess that this makes sense. You want to be able to find those key cards. Also putting, you know, the protection on the field of Thanos is going to be pretty good. So yet another variant of fun. Hey, good stuff with the Bice Deals. All right. Oh, we have our Malice list for you out here. I see that we were getting a little bit saucy with the Sky Striker variant out here. Most people told me that the Sky Striker variant was not going to be functioning after, you know, this set dropped. And I didn't really disagree or think much about it, you know, but, you know, you're packing in 23 spell cards in here. You got Sign Up Minds, you got the Allures, you know, you have all the turbo draw power to toggle you into those cards to get you into those places where you want to be. You also do see that we have the Dimension Shifter in here as well. So you can kind of tear apart some of those fields. Yeah, let's call it what it is. Having Banished Removal up and running, going to be extremely strong. I see we are also side decking the Shark Cannon as well for the Giga Forms of Disruption. Yeah, I mean, considering the fact this is a California regional, you know, this deck having, you know, its Giga 23 spell cards in here, I think it had a good time tearing through the meta. Ooh, we have some more Mitsurugi action for you. Now, this is a little bit different than the other build that we saw. You're just going with one Amino Murakumo in here and one Futsu. Maybe cutting back on the extra fat is actually probably a good call. I didn't actually really think about that too much. Because you got to think about it like this. Having the extra Ame sometimes can feel like a brick. It is a dark, so it is a Bice Deal target, but I do kind of like having to shave this off and not have to deal with that extra, you know, bad side of things. We've also got droplets in here for board breaking as well, which is pretty strong. I also see we have the standard thrust chucking along in here. And hey, we got some Exceed Encore action down here as well. I'm kind of wondering if the Exceed Encore good stuff is actually kind of the way to go to kind of going forward out here. I guess it does make sure that we don't have to deal with any BS. Okay. Next up here, we have more of your Fiendsmith Rizal. We were feeling dangerous today. I see we went up one extra card from the other variants out here, which I guess makes sense, right? You need this deck to be able to get to those consistent numbers. See, we are going with the crossout designators down here. And we are only playing one Ultimate Slayer. I guess this duelist just felt like they didn't need the extra consistency, because, like, you have the Bice Deals here. You got the Drolls built into the main along with effect failures. You know, obviously, like I said, the 42 cards does kind of give you some extra little options, but I don't know. This build, I feel like is a little bit more teched out than some of the others, though. That Exceed Encore that we've seen leading up to this point, though, I think that's a little bit saucy. So, Fiendsmith everywhere. Ooh, and we got, our last list is some more of the Amino Murakumo good stuff. So 2 Ame with 1 Futsu. It's looking pretty normal at this point. Maximizing on the triple ice with 1 node, 1 sword. Interesting. And then, of course, 1 Kusanagi with triple Saji, looking good. And another build that was actually playing the Metaltronius in here. Actually, I think Metaltronius is going to be a very good comeback card this week, especially out of a regional like this, where you are seeing this exceptional power taking care of these things. And also, you know, tearing apart your opponent's Dreadnamer is pretty good. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you. Yeah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.